What? We're back. Oh, this isn't Whitty. This isn't Whitty. This is John Schmitz. I'm actually the producer of that clown show that he does. And I get to be the moderator of this big showdown, Rumble in the Jungle. It's going to be an epic face-off, mano, and all that stuff. It's Brad versus Whitty. This is going to be interesting to see what happened. This has been brewing for a little bit, but I just want to put out a disclaimer there. I am just the creator of the Chateau de Mars Hill Studio Network. The views held up by Stephen Whitmer are not mine. I'm just the producer. So if you got hate mail, send it directly to him, not to me. I just produced the show. So that's my out on this thing. So if it goes terribly, terribly wrong, it's not my fault. But I'm going to go ahead and bring the guys on. I'm going to bring them on, and we're going to get to it. Let's go ahead and bring everybody on here. All right. We got to get Brad on the left and Whitmer on the right.
We're back.
He broke his candy cigarette. Probably gonna go back to Jolly Ranchers.
Oh, yeah.
And Brad's all ready to go too. We've been brewing this little fiasco for a minute. So we're going to start this out. I'm going to give each of our contestants here a minute to introduce themselves. You don't have to take the whole minute, but we're going to start with Brad since it is. Actually, we should start with Brad because he's a guest on your show. So where's my man? So Brad, give us the minute rundown on what you're doing, who you are, why you're here. How's that?
Thank you, John. I am the visiting team, so I think it's only right. I grew up Northwest Indiana. I'm a lifelong Hoosier. I went to Ball State, graduated there, got a teaching degree from there. I seem to be quite a target for conservatives because I did everything that they said is woke. I went to the public high school. I went to a state college. I started teaching, and there was no indoctrination. So again, I feel like they're really coming after a lot of what I've done so far. So, and I think their views are a little bit skewed. So that's why I have such fun talking to people like Whitty about different topics, including the obesity epidemic. So
yeah, I'm sure that's going to come up. Well, we did have, before you get going, Steve, Spiro asked, what are the ground rules? Okay, so the ground rules are, I'm going to ask questions.
There are no rules. We're going to be gentlemen.
Hey,
this is going to devolve into something. It's just...
Oh, yeah.
I got this. I got the mute button. So this is going to go, pal. That's the first thing. Don't make me mute you. I've already muted you once. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask a few questions here. We're going to ask some questions, and then they're going to have a minute and a half each. We're going to alternate like the question. Like Steve will go first this time, then Brad will go next time, and all that. We're gonna mix it up a little bit. Now, Brad, when you made your description, I felt like, man, I went to public school. I went to Ball State. I did some substitute teaching. Am I woke? I'm just wondering.
Well, I mean, you went through that process, right? So
yeah,
weren't you indoctrinated?
They could not teach me a thing. I was me and David Letterman both got C's at Ball State. We were more social people than we were.
My whole floor, my freshman year, was on academic probation.
Which hall did you stay in?
Whitty Shales over in La
Whitty Shales. Did you hear that? Yeah. Whitmer's got a dorm named after him. All right, Whitty, you get your minute now. Your minute to explain to us what you are about and why you are here.
Well, I am Slick Whitty, Steve Whitmer, a.k.a. the Baron of Banville, a.k.a. the most feared man in Indianapolis. At least I like to think. And I, too, am from the Northwest Indiana, a.k.a. the region. I am not a lifetime Hoosier or lifelong Hoosier. I was actually born in Chi-Town Heights. Yeah, holler up. But same thing over here. I went to public school. Back then, we knew what the difference was between a man and a woman. 2 + 2 also equaled 4. And I think what people are also forgetting here is that I would say even 10, 15 years ago, I forget that it's already 2025, but me and Brad, I think, are in the same age range, older millennials, the top of the class, the last of the greats, I think.
Yeah.
I would think so, right?
We hit
Well,
that transition right on.
I know, right? So I think like back then things were different, but definitely in the last 5 to 10 years, things have mostly changed. And as Micah Beckwith would like to put it, part of the Beckwith battalion, he says all these public institutions are woke. This is why we have to have charter schools. Homeschool your children, people. And this is why I can't wait to see in
Oh
person
my God.
Tuesday when I'm at the Boone County Town Hall with our friend Micah Beckwith. That's right, yours truly will be there reporting boots on the ground.
All right. Well, that's a little more detail than we wanted to hear, but that's okay.
I just want it
It's your
noted
show.
too that I didn't bring up Micah first. Okay?
I know you did.
wasn't the one-
In fact, I'm looking through some of your notes here, and I don't even see Mike on there. So let's skip him till later. But I want to bring up something that's not on either one of the notes here. This last night we had an execution. And that's the first one in a while. So I want to ask you your opinions on capital punishment. Let's talk about that first. Brad, you're up. You got a minute to a minute. 2 minutes. Like I said, keep them brief. We want to roll through a bunch of questions here.
Well, yeah, I think we had an execution. This is our second one after the abortion.
It is too. Yeah.
Because I remember we had a panel and I was thinking about the fact that, people weren't on board for the death penalty, but they were on board for abortion and vice versa. And for me, yeah, I'm a believer in the death penalty.
Okay.
I mean, especially when it's such a violent crime. The one that I right now go to is the Elwood officer that was shot a few years back.
Oh, Shenovitz, yeah.
Yeah, and his murderer is in jail now, and he actually attacked another correctional officer and stabbed him. And at that point, I'm wondering, what are we waiting for? What? There was an article that came out today about a parent who beat his 5-year-old daughter to death. It was on Indie Reporter. I saw it there. And what possible, explanation could he give to a jury? And why would a jury just be like, yeah, he deserves to live the rest of his life, and we deserve to pay for it?
Yep. Well, it takes an average of 17 years to get the process done. This last guy was plus 20 plus.
That shouldn't be the case at all.
No. Some could argue the other side. Hey, we want to be sure. But I think you could be sure in maybe 17 months instead of 17 years ago. So, Steve, what do you think about this? I think I got a feeling that you're going to
very pro death penalty, just like the guy behind me. He's keeping an eye on me. He's making sure that I smell good. And I completely agree with Brad on this. I am a big proponent of the death penalty. I think we need to have executions every week, have it like a UFC event every Saturday. We go over there, we tailgate too. Also think like people like Nikki Callie at Capital Chronicle, they're all saying that the media should be part of it. They should be able to see everything. And I completely agree. In fact, if it's a money thing, have it as a pay-per-view. Listen, we've watched like Bravo stuff all the time. And we used to have public executions for people that stole a horse or a cow. And it just really like made it, hey, if you do something this bad, we're going to hang you in front of everybody. And like what you said too was about that guy that beat that 5-year-old or like pushed her down the stairs and has had a history of it too. And if you go onto the Libertarian Facebook page, they're all about hating the death penalty. And they're like, oh, well, you know what? We should rehab them. It's like, how are you going to rehab a monster like that? That makes no sense to me.
And I don't think it's a blanket. No. I think that there are those examples to where you can rehabilitate someone, but I think in these cases where the death penalty is involved, I don't see the point, because especially he's had so many chances. This guy, like the father, how many times was he paroled? How many times was he given plea deals?
I like to ask people, would you like to have that person as your next door neighbor? And if you say no, then you're for the death penalty. So yes or no answer here. We'll start with Steve. Do you think the death penalty is a deterrent?
Yeah.
How about you, Brad?
No, okay. I don't. Well,
okay. Go ahead and explain that. I think I know where you're going.
People still do it. People know that
the passion outweighs the thinking.
But I feel like the moment of passion thing is one thing that I don't know that I would side with the death penalty verdict on that. But if it's like a pattern of the behaviors, like that father, like the guy who shot the officer and then stabbed the correctional officer, you have proof. You have backed up evidence to show that this is how this person is. It's not like they flew off the handle once.
No, they didn't.
If we had more executions, it would be more of a deterrent, but there's still going to be monsters in the world.
Yeah, no, but they have to be public.
Public.
So what are you trying to say? We could put the guillotine down there at the circle, and just chop people's heads off.
How many
or
times
at least
have I
some
said
stockades. That's what we should have. Stockades placed around the circle, and then people can throw the vegetables at them.
Get your tomatoes, get your lettuce.
Get it all that there. Okay, well, speaking of food, let's go to the next question about SNAP. What about, we'll start with Steven on this one. We got, what is your thoughts on SNAP? How about buying soda, candy, all that? Is that, go.
I hate it, first off. Like, it should be a privilege to get public money at all. And there's so much fraud. And the problem is, all right, let's just go into it. I can't stand fat people. And here's the thing, I'm not talking about like the 40 or the 50-year-olds. There's like a line. I'm talking about the 20-year-old women who have no children, have like really no stress at all, but somehow they're still fat. I cannot stand it at all. It's like, have some respect for yourself. What I also cannot stand is when you are getting public money and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to get some pop. That's how I say it. I don't know if you say soda, but you're getting the Cheetos, you're getting the garbage. It's like, if you're getting public money, the same thing about Medicaid too. Like, there has to be a point where you say, hey, this is what you're allowed because this is public money.
Okay. All right. There you go, Brad. What do you think?
I am pro people being able to purchase what they want with SNAP benefits to an extent, of course, but like the idea that the obesity epidemic is the cause of poor people on SNAP and welfare. I think obesity has a lot more causes, genetics and all that sort of thing. And I know that people can go, well, there's no fat people in China or there's no fat people in this country. And yeah, but and that might be the case too. Like, we have that freedom to eat and drink whatever we want, to consume whatever we want.
Supersize.
I mean, even think about cigarettes and alcohol. Like, Whitty, you made me laugh my ass off so bad last week or a couple weeks ago when you said Democrats are always, going like, people should, you should believe in the good of people. And he's like, no, people are morons. And I started
so
laughing.
true.
I'm like, yeah, but at what point can we can educate them all we want. We can,
yeah,
but you can't control it. That's
no. And I completely agree with that. You can't govern or like make law crimes for honesty. I mean, there's points where there's like fraud, but I think like if you're going to get public money and you're trying to stay healthy, I mean, I think first off, I don't even want SNAP around anyway. I don't want Medicaid around anyway. My roads are still messed up. They can't even take care of that. But if you're going to go that far and get, public money to these fat slobs, they should only be able to buy some, have like a pint of ice cream, but the whole grocery list can't be full of a pop or sweets or stuff like that. You got to throw a turnip in there every now and then. You got to have some grapes, but like, and I'm not even saying grape flavored. All right, you got to have grapes, purple? not Faygo.
Yeah, that's. So again, you're sort of agreeing on this. Okay, we got to get.
I think
get
no, but it comes down more to you can't. Like, you can tell people to live a healthy lifestyle, but even people that aren't on SNAP don't do that, and then they can get
fine with that.
Well, but then they can get mixed up in healthcare. Like, we're taking care of them later on in life because people are making poor health decisions now.
And I mean, is that on Medicaid?
But is that the same kind of issue as somebody who's on SNAP eating, unhealthy foods? If they're killing themselves now and we're going to have to take care of them later.
That's why we should take care of them. We could go Canada style. We could go Canada style where they're like killing all the old people. I think like 4% of the deaths in Canada right now are from the Kevorkian stuff.
Yeah, well, and also I know some Canadian people that had to wait 9 months to get their heart, looked at, and that guy unfortunately has passed away now. But So it's sometimes free is not the best, but we're not going to talk. Speaking of obesity, though, we're going to go on to the next one. Do you believe that Trump lost the election in 2020? And Brad, you get to start on that one.
Yes.
All right.
He lost it. Well, no, but and I want to elaborate on that too, because
Okay.
I don't know what he's up to now, but he keeps going back to it. Like he goes back to it and talks about how he won even still. And so now, he's talking about that was his actual second term and this is his third term or something. And it's just I don't know how he's going to try to use that, but it's something that he keeps posting.
It keeps popping up. So Whitty, what do you think?
Well, yeah, he definitely lost. I mean, he wasn't president for the last 4 years, so he obviously lost. Do I think there was some, as the children say, some tomfuckery going on here? I definitely think something's going on. I mean, we even I was just looking this up earlier today because they brought it up back in November. Was look how many people voted in 2024, and then look how many people voted in 2020. And obviously, there's 2020 was the first year that I actually voted ever. So when everybody was wearing a mask, everybody was worried about getting COVID. So it was much easier to bring in absentee ballots. And now things have been changed a little bit. Now we're all going to the ballot box. And, and where did it all come from? It all came from the blue states. But yes, obviously Trump lost because he was not president for the last 4 years. So he can't, unless you want to go like tinfoil hat theory where, it was a clone or whatever.
Oh, yeah. But Trump lost because of COVID. Like, I think Trump would have won if COVID wasn't existing. Trump would have won. I really do believe that many people came out to vote against how he.
So do you think they were pro-Biden or anti-Trump?
Anti-Trump.
Okay.
Because even with all the things that are happening with Biden right now, I don't feel that, and I also feel like we were kind of fine just leaving him behind and going with Kamala without a primary. It wasn't the case of, it was kind of the case of like, I knew him dying was kind of a chance going in. He was already really old. So if she takes over, then yeah, that's who I voted for in 2020. But I think, how many people vote in the election? Like what percentage of Americans vote or registered voters?
It depends on where you live. There's some states are more than others.
Like but I mean, what happens?
We're not a high voting state.
No, but what I mean is like, what happens if next year's or next election increases by like 10% of the voters? Like that's going to be a crap ton of vote. And then are we still going to say, oh, well, no, now the numbers really don't line up.
I'm sure Democrats will be like, because I mean, I was already over the whole Trump 2020 thing like a couple of years ago. I'm like, what are we going to do about it anyway? It's like,
and that's what I don't get why he's bringing it up now. It's like, it's either about revenge or something. I don't know.
Well, the thing is too, like they're like, what are they going to do? And that's what I mean, this is the first time hearing it that Trump is bringing this back up again. I don't really follow Trump anymore. I'm just following Indiana stuff, but like, same thing. Like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to bring it up? So like the people in the red states, they're going to change the voting rules. Like how we have now, you're going to be getting a postcard, which by the way, I've been saying this for a long time that we need to clean up the voter roll. John knows too. I
know firsthand how
messed up Marion County is with the voter roll.
Well, and they even agreed that, when I said 14% of the people are not voting where they live. And the Secretary of State agrees with that. Oh, well, I said, well, why don't we clean it up? In fact, the address that they put down, half of those weren't right. So, but they were still on the roll. So they might, and there was even somebody that ran for the House in Madison County that was still in Marion County.
Yeah.
So it's messed up. But
well, you know what I did? I mean, Brad, I don't know. I think you ran for office before too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Did you send out mailers at all?
No, I raised $0.
Oh, okay. Well, I raised $0. There's all of my behind. But I sent out a bunch of mailers, and I got all the ones that I got returned were like 99% of them were from apartments, which but they all voted in the primary. That's the weird part. Is like, well, did in that short amount of time, in that 5 month or what was it, 4 month, 5 month, whatever time it was, like they all moved in that time. There are a couple of houses, I don't know, probably like a dozen homes that I got return addresses to. Didn't make any sense. They voted in the primary. That's how I was doing it.
Yeah, and it is, and they have to go through these roles, and they're sitting down there and maybe not going through them. Okay, so I got another question for you. Both have run for office. I want you to. We'll go with Brad first on this one. Talk about what was the most disappointing thing that you ran into. We'll do that one first. What was the most disappointing thing that you ran into, as far as just any part of it?
I'd say engagement with the incumbent. Making it known that they were not participating in any of the debates, any of the town halls, anything like that, and everybody being kind of okay with it at that time. I feel like it's kind of snowballed now to hopefully have some more, but I feel like some of the attendees' attitude is ruining it. It's like we have to be able to have conversations with people we hate, and respectfully state that, hey, I don't agree with anything that you're on board with.
All right.
Who'd you run against?
Elizabeth Roray. She's like number.
Roray.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe that you put her like in the third rail or whatever.
You know why though, right? Because of that castration bill that she had.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's no way quicker to get to Whitty but to do something to somebody evil.
Yeah, we're taking out pedophiles one at a time. I'm all about food.
Yeah, get the evil guy and it's gone. So, Whitty, what was your most disappointing thing? I saw you shaking your head with Brad, so I don't want to hear that same answer because
that was part of. I mean, yeah, because me and John obviously ran against the same person, and I had a town hall with the person that was running against Justin Moed, and they were okay with it. I even invited Moed to his face, and he's like, "Oh, I'll see if I can make it." Never shows up, obviously. But I think the most disappointing was I could not even get an email back from the party about getting postage, because I spent I forgot how much money I spent on just mailers. I think it was like $2,500 on mailers, but like postage was like 55 cents each one. And I was like, can I just get a little help? Because I think I did the math on it, and I spent over $1,000 just on postage, which is crazy. I mean, obviously some of these other campaigns spend like $100,000, but
yeah, well,
that's also crazy.
Yeah, pretty much. The cheapest you could send a small mailer out is about 65 cents a piece, and that's if you have a permit from somebody, and that's good. So yeah, it is.
I do have one more disappointing thing
well, we don't have more. We can have another one.
Okay, because
there's plenty to go around.
Yeah.
So the election that I lost against Elizabeth Roray, I lost the vote 70% to 30% with spending $0. Which means that like even other Democrats never I don't know that it was truly something that everyone knew me and that voted for me, and I lost 70 to 30. Flash forward 2 years, Phil Gift ran against Elizabeth Roray instead of me. He raised money, walked in parades, knocked on doors. He lost 70 to 30.
Yeah.
And so at what point do you just kind of toss up your hands and go, I don't know what's going to change things, but something has to give.
Yeah, that's where me and John are at. That's why I'm not going to run again next year. It's like there's no way to beat Moed. There's just some people you're just never going to beat. There's some, and then like Marion County's getting worse too. Like you haven't figured it out, then you're just never going to figure it out. Yeah,
and that's one of the things. I guess one of the questions is how do we fix it? But I don't even think I want to ask that question because I don't know what the answer is. They draw up these safe districts, and I don't think they draw them up. I just think people move to those districts because they like to be around like-minded people. So I don't care how you draw it, you're still going to have a group of people that are going to dominate an area.
But they gerrymandered a lot of gerrymander a lot of areas around colleges, a lot of areas around like major cities. It's like they try to block off.
They did it in Marion County. They gerrymandered it the first time to get rid of Andre Carson by drawing in the South Side, and that didn't work. So then they started losing the Victoria Sparks to 5, so they moved it back up there to make that 7 so strong it can't be beat. But hey, they solidified 5 and 6, so it is definitely a game in that regard. And I honestly, I don't know how you break in with without having a fortune. You can have a fortune like Jefferson Shreve, and you can do whatever you want to do. So,
well, I mean, he spent 14 million right on a mare's race, and he still lost.
You got 40%.
Crap. And like that's what I mean. Like when you see other campaigns and other races spend that kind of money,
yeah.
And Whitty, you can't get a little bit of help for stamps.
Yeah. No. Well, now Shreve doesn't like me anymore. So.
And they want to they want to pick you. So speaking of Shreve, you know that one of the facts that you may or may not know is Jefferson Shreve ran for the trustees board back when they had some openings, and he lost. So this next question is, how do you feel about the state taking over the board on IU? And then I got a follow-up on that about the Kinsey, which I think Brad will appreciate this next one. But let's tackle that one first. What do you think about the state taking this over? And you think that's right? I mean, or why? So, Steve, it's your turn.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out why they did it. I have my own theories, but it does seem like this is going to be a seat where, hey, you got to buy in. And the same thing, if you look at Shreve lately, where he's been getting a lot of press with the insider trading and the stock stuff. What I have pretty much figured that out was that it's just a way for him to avoid paying taxes, which, hey, I'm okay with that. But what I'm not okay with is insider trading. If you're going to do that, hey, give your boy help, okay? Because I want to make some money too.
Is that you want to pay for the stamps?
Yeah, I got to make my money back from the stamp. Postage ain't cheap, Shreve. What are we doing here?
So, Brad,
I am also on the side of there should have been talks about it, public talks. I mean, them sneaking this in. Remember, I was watching this stuff pretty basically all night because it was happening during the draft, and I was watching this all the way up until almost 2:00 in the morning that it went into it. And so they would walk in, they would talk about it, and they would go right back out, but they would never bring up. It's like, oh yeah, we'll meet again at this time. So you're just watching the screen the entire time. It's like, okay, I think Capitol Chronicle comes out and says, oh yeah, this also happened. Probably something that I missed while I was waiting for Shador to get drafted.
that was about 3 a.m, wasn't it?
Yeah, so, no, a 5th round like 3 days later.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that he might turn out to be a Tom Brady. You never know. So, Brad, what do you think?
I was appalled by it. Like, I don't understand how it went through with zero announcement that they were even talking about. Like, I hadn't seen anything bill-wise. It wasn't added to any other bills. Or attempted to, and they added it before anybody could even say anything. Like they waited until 2:00 in the morning or 1:00 in the morning, when, like, honestly, I feel like there's a lot more eyes on it today now, which I love. So like yeah, Indiana Capitol Chronicle, Indy Reporter, everybody who reports and just watches the mind-numbing boredom and tedious nature that they go through, and for them, like, and nobody saw it, nobody was there to witness it, to see who announced it, who proposed it, who seconded it.
Any guesses on? I mean, it's really hard to tell, isn't it?
So JD Ford had a town hall last weekend or last Thursday. By the way, Republicans, you need to have a town hall, okay? You pansies. I'm over it, especially in Marion County. But JD Ford
no
put
Republicans in Marion County.
Yeah. That's so true.
Break that to you.
So JD Ford had a town hall last Thursday, and he put it out there. He's like, he heard that the president of IU wanted that to happen. I don't know why. No idea why. I don't really follow any of the college stuff. So
no, apparently a lot of people don't like her, or that she's made some decisions that have upset a lot of people. But what I don't like is Braun's answer about why he agreed to it, because he was saying that, well, the alumni votes, only like 3% of the alumni actually vote for the board of trustees, and so because of such a low voter turnout, it's actually beneficial for him to be in control of it. And it's like
It's
saying,
okay.
okay, well, if everybody decides not to vote, then I guess it's okay for the king just to go in and wrap everything up. And it's yeah,
I
it's
don't
just a
like that
lack
it's
of
a
accountability.
college.
Yeah.
And the fact
Well,
that
for
it's a college
any
too doesn't
college.
make any sense at all. Like I'm on the side of like, if that's your deal, if you want to have like a say in it, I'm okay. But that like you appoint it, not a big fan, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. So I got a yes and no for you. Do you think this? We'll go with Brad first. Do you think this has anything to do with Kinsey and its funding?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, most
somewhat,
likely.
some it's sort of a backdoor way to do that. But I guess there was only 3 at-large board members. So there was the other 8 were appointed already, or how many there is? I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
what I mean. It seems odd just to
It
do it the
did
way
the
they did it.
whole thing, and 2 in the morning. It's got another look of, what's up with this? So,
Well, and I talked to Nikki Kelly. Like I talked, or I sent her a message because, like, and I don't know her. I read what she writes, and I asked her, like, am I just being naive, or does this happen all the time? And she said it does, and she brought up the fact that something like this happened the last budget with all of the raises, like
yeah, they were last minute.
yeah.
Yeah.
And again, you look at, okay, what were the last ones of these type of bills or these type of amendments that went in, and it's all things that benefit like specific individuals.
It's either power or a money that they want to get. All right. Well,
And that's it. Like, how are we
someone's
like
getting
Republican
paid.
or Democrat? Why are
Yeah.
we okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Okay. Speaking about schools, how about this one? We'll start with Whitty on this one. Andrew Ireland came up with an amendment that would not allow teachers to be paid to come down to the State House and give them a bunch of grief. So what do you think about that one?
Oh man, I was gooning so hard when I was read that. I had to have a real burner, not none of this candy stuff after I got done. Because after I read that, I felt so good. I felt like I just got done. But we all knew that nothing was going to happen with that. It was put in too late. It was probably not germane. But the fact that he put it on there, I mean, he was sending shockwaves throughout everybody. He was trying to, I'm not speaking for him, obviously, even though he was number 1 on the trust chart. King Ireland, let's go. Round 2, re-election next year. But he's doing things that nobody else is doing. And he's sending shockwaves through all out Marion County, setting the point of, hey, Republicans, we got to stop being a bunch of cowards. And even though some things aren't going to happen, let's just do a cannonball right into the political soup.
How are Republicans cowards when they have the supermajority and can run rickshaw over like anything? Like, I don't understand how they're...
Because they're rhinos and they're like soft-core Democrats, I think. They're just liberal light most of the time. Like Ed Soliday or Jim Pressel. It's a lot of these boomers, too, that are not to make fun of John. John's more of a based boomer. Let's go.
That's going to lead me into my next question. Go ahead.
But, it's more of these like GDP bros, neocon, rhino types, Republican in name only, not conservative at all. Otherwise, the gas tax, we wouldn't have to be doing tolls. They would have just went through with the gas tax that they said they were going to do. Oh, because you know what? I was watching the Mike Young and he brought that up. He said, hey, when we had the gas tax, you told everybody that we were going to be having so much money that we wouldn't have to worry about fixing the roads anymore. He's like, what happened? What happened? Now we're doing some more? Because Mike Young, obviously number 1 in the trust chart for the senators, but, he's way more conservative than any of those people.
Okay, before we go on, I want you to explain what based means. And is it a positive thing? Is it a bad thing? What exactly is based?
It means that you agree with something like hard. That's made it, and it's like, hey, that is the right thing.
Okay,
so the reason why you don't hear Democrats really say it because they don't really have anything based. It's more of a right wing thing.
Here we go. That's why. See, Brad asked me that question to ask because he didn't know, and I thought I knew, but I didn't. So it's basically based means it's like the right. it's that person's in the right, not
So
on the right,
right, yeah,
not
like
on the right, but in
yeah,
the right, in
yeah,
the right.
so
Well, it
correct.
may be a left idea,
correct,
but
yeah, boom,
but the
so
right.
correct,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
it says, Brad, does that help you out? I think you're based sometimes.
It does. I
Yeah,
I
great.
do
sleeping, that's
appreciate
it,
that.
though, pretty
Death
much.
penalty based. Let's go.
But like
Yeah.
anytime like I get the same kind of like compliment or title as a conservative, I'm always like, wait, what?
John, help me out with this one. Do you? I think Brad is a Indiana libertarian
Ooh, I don't know. I
because
don't know.
libertarians are more left leaning. Indiana libertarians.
Yeah, I would say that, but I don't want to insult him. So,
I'm putting it more of a. It's a compliment, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait, because I want to go back to the Ireland bill because
yeah.
It's
your turn.
Okay, well, because he did say he's going to bring it back up. That was another thing too. Like he might have known that it's not like going to go through this time, but like, oh my God, the love affair with Andrew Ireland from like the conservative media right now he is just the golden boy that can do no wrong.
Is he number one on
and that's
the
it.
list?
Like he's been great. Like, but that specific amendment that they're going to defund a school if they have to close because their teachers go protest. How would that even work? Like it wouldn't is the answer to that. And so it's just because what if the teachers
cares? It's just, well,
yeah,
to me, I think they should have to find a substitute, and I'll raise my hand. I'll substitute for any teacher that wants to go protest. I'll substitute for you.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, but subs are hard to find now too.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'll volunteer. I've done it before. I'll volunteer for certain causes. I may not agree or disagree or whatever, but I help you out. So, but yeah, I get it. But I would say that if you're a hardworking individual, say you're working down at the steel mill that we don't have, and you want to go down and protest, if you go down for the day? Should you not? If you didn't make your steel,
well, you can take PTO. You can take time off. Like, don't.
So is that what the teachers did then? They took the PTO, or
I think it was because they all of a sudden did it. It wasn't like it was a scheduled PTO day off. I see. That's where I'm kind of on the fence. I'm kind of with Brad, but I'm also with Ireland on this one. Like, you shouldn't have like, hey, you know what? There's a surprise protest tomorrow. Let's all call off. But like, where you're going to have like a scheduled day off where you can kind of plan for it. I'm a man of compromise and equality.
So
wait, no, I think Trump just invented that word.
Equalizer? Like Denzel Washington?
Yeah, that guy, the 1, 2, 3 equalizer. He got away with equalizing stuff. If it was only so easy on as it was on TV. So we're going to talk about the budget a little bit. What is your thoughts on the super majority budget deal that they sort of ran through here? They added a couple $1 billion to it. I think adding, but I didn't see much subtracting of the government. So this is going to be do we need less government question? And what did you think about the budget? I think it's Brad's turn.
It always cracks me up that the conservative governments, they preach, hey, small government, we don't want to be in your life. You can get to do what you want to do. And then all conservative governments do is tell you what you can or cannot do. And they're not even good at it in this supermajority because they can't pass the things that I don't know. Maybe they do pass the things that they want to pass because maybe this is the property bill that they really did want. And they're fine just accepting all of the heat from the constituents because we all have short memories. If the election was the day after the budget, that's when the election should be.
It should be right after you pay your property taxes.
Yeah, something like that. But everything gets pushed until right after Halloween, and we're all just in a candy coma, and we don't care. Like,
goblins are gonna get me.
It goes away.
Yeah. So Brad, what do you think?
Oh wait, what was the question now? sorry.
I mean, not Brad. Whitty. You already answered the question. I was like, man, I was getting
like, wait, there's more?
I was so enthralled with your answer. I forgot I was hosting this debate.
Well, it'll be really interesting what happens next year because every representative is up for re-election. So
yeah, it's not a budget year, so they can't
it's
really...
a non-budget year. Yeah, but they're going to want to see what bills that they have. What's going to be coming up because unless you have like a primary or something, which most Republicans aren't going to have one. But so well, I think we all know that like the machine is strong and they'll just throw out $1 million to somebody if they really want to primary them. So obviously the budget went up and I wasn't a big fan of it, especially when you had the SB1, which by the way, I listened to, I don't think Brad was there on Saturday. They had all 4 mayors in Hamilton County. And one of them, I forgot who it was. They said that the original SB1 from Mike Braun was crap. And then this new one from Holdman was way better. I was like, that's interesting. I'm going to have to clip that. But the fact that the budget went up, yet we're going to have tolls. We're giving more money to the IADC. And that whole thing is going to turn into a giant mess. Somebody actually mentioned it today. Was like, oh, if we knew how to spend, where's the money going? And it's like the IEDC, Where do you think it's going? It's not going to the things that it's supposed to. If we had, I mean, obviously, if there was more accountability, but the same thing, we need to have more public hangings, I think. More tar and feathers.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're short on them. I got some on Amazon ordered, and they couldn't even get them here the next day. So, this is a question for you: the audit of the since we're talking about that, the IDEDC or IDEC, whatever it is, this is a yes or no. Do you think that is just a smokescreen, or do you think that they're legitimately digging down to try to find some issues? Start with you, Brad.
I think they're playing it like a smokescreen, but I looked into who the guy was that was investigating, or he was like the lead auditor, which by the way, they made it a point to say it's not an audit, right? It's not really an audit. It's like they're going to investigate
where the money went. I guess that's an audit.
Well, no, but they, I guess, made a point in the contract to say that this is not an audit. So in the event that it does go to a hearing or some sort of thing like that, that they're not on the hook for it or something like that. But I do think they're going to find a bunch of stuff, and whether or not, Braun does anything with it. That's like going back to the budget. Like Braun knew the budget was bad, didn't like it, complained about it on many radio stations, still signed it.
Yeah.
Does he have any power whatsoever then, or no?
Yeah. So yes or no question before Steve gets to go. Do you think that he's trying to keep goodwill with the House and Senate, or do you think he's getting pushed around by the House and Senate? Steve?
Handshakes and hand jobs for sure.
All right, pushed around, Brad. That's code for he's based on that one. So either is he trying to make friendly with them, or is he getting pushed around? Which one do you think it is?
Brad?
Trying to keep the Brad.
Oh, I think he's getting pushed around.
Okay.
And I don't think he has. I think the supermajority is really kind of doing what they want, but it's just it's like I don't know how that happened. We all voted for it, and then it passed. It's like, yeah, that's exactly what just happened. You guys all voted for a shitty bill, and then it passed. I don't know how. Like,
and part of that is, Indiana is one of the states that the governor has less power than the legislature, so they really have the power. He's supposed to guide people, and I think I would say that the Senate
should use it. He should have vetoed this.
Yeah,
he should have.
Senate and House, the legislators won, Braun 0 on this go around. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I've been around him. I don't know why he's would be thinking about another term. I just, you know what I'm saying?
John, we've both spent time around him, especially at your campaign thing. Dude, he had a much stronger aura at that time than he does now. Doesn't it look that way?
And I think it's a grind. I mean, you have, I think it grinds on you. People don't understand how tough these jobs are. You got people either loving you or hating you 24/7. I mean, just look at it. So people forget of the stress of it. So to me, it's like, hey, Trump knows he's not going to get reelected. So I think he's literally let his hair down or over, however he does it. And he's just throwing caution to the wind. Let's just do everything we can. But it seems like
let's fire the librarian of Congress,
on
that. So I think it's going to be a patsy. I think they're looking for someone to take the fall.
And then he could be that guy. So if you are, we do have a good audience here. If you have some questions, I'll try to keep my eye on here. If you got a question for either the gentleman or both gentlemen, just put them up and I'll try to pay attention to catch those. But I have plenty more. Speaking of holes in the budget, holes in the roads, why don't we legalize this marijuana and start?
You read my mind, John.
Oh, here we go.
Well, Brad,
let's start with you. Didn't I have a whole 50-minute show about this thing? Yeah, I feel like I already answered all the questions.
Yeah, but oh man, no, Whitty, you went on some tangents where it was zero to do with marijuana legalization, and it had more to do with there are shitty people who will do horrible things.
Yeah,
weed is not like the culprit of that.
It's a vice, which is a problem.
But responsible people,
where are those people at? Why do we still have drunk drivers then? We still have people that have gambling addictions.
But alcohol's legal.
Yeah, and that shouldn't have been. That's a
vehicles are legal. Like, you're just a crappy driver.
Yeah, have you been to Marion County? You see, if we don't enforce the law, people will not. Yeah, if we do not enforce, dude. Okay, here, let's check this out right now because I was just at a crime watch meeting. The Ryan Mears was obviously not there, so they sent out their local person. So they have this blue envelope program, right? And it's basically people that have like autism or some anxiety, and they said, hey, just put your registration, your information in here. So if you get pulled over, or if you have some like learning disability too, my thought is like, if you're gonna have that kind of problem driving a vehicle, you shouldn't be driving. It should be harder to get a driver's license then.
It should.
I think it should be harder to do these things that are a privilege. Like what I was saying about the SNAP thing or the Medicaid thing, this is a privilege. And then when you mess up that privilege, you're out. You're not getting it anymore.
That's what we have the red line, the blue line, the purple line for.
I was going to say, public transportation. Whitty, I didn't know you were pro public.
No, you're gonna walk. Go take your bike.
Come on.
Come on.
You're not taking barefooted. What we were doing before buses and cars, we were either walking or we were taking a horse if we were privileged enough.
Or
lose your legs. Laws about horses on the roads.
I know you. Hey, you're not technically drunk driving.
You could take the moped of shame. So. I'm sorry. I live in Mars Hill. I see it quite often.
I see it by me. Yeah,
it's like people around here have to ride. I want to ride.
And the problem is too, Brad is going to bring up. Let's fix the potholes. How come the other states? Why are their roads still crap then? It's because whenever we're going to have like an influx of money, and we saw it with the COVID money, they wasted it. They totally blew it on something else. Marion County is the perfect example of that.
But that doesn't mean the opportunity isn't there.
Yeah, but we have garbage leaders on the left and the right that will just give it to somebody else. And so you're going to bring in a vice that's going to make things worse, and you're not even going to fix the roads. If people were to their word, but let's be honest, politicians are not up to the task of keeping their word. If I would be okay with a lot of things, even legalizing weed, if we were able to enforce the laws that we had now.
Can't we add something into say the legalization bill? Can't there be something in there as to what the revenue is spent on and what it cannot be spent on?
Yeah, earmarking it. But the problem is they're going to still money launder that. They're going to have their consultants we got to do a study on here. So the consulting people that gave money to the legislators, they're going to have influence on that. And then they're totally going to hide cost the construction materials on whatever stuff is on that.
But that's it. Like Mike Young, I remember him being on the show and he said something to me that stuck with me because it seemed wrong. Well, it seemed wrong, but he's usually very accurate, I think. He said something like that people have a fixed amount of income that they spend, or like that we have like a fixed and that it'll just move to something else. So like we're not creating new revenue, we're just moving around the revenue that we already have. And to me, I don't agree with that because it's like, don't we choose what we spend our money on? Like not everybody saves 10% of their paycheck. Not everybody has like an umbrella account or whatever. It's you spend what you have, and so.
And I agree with that. Mike Young actually told me that personally. We were he's talking to somebody who's a pothead. Who I don't know if he's in the chat or not. Great guy, obviously. We all know him. But he said the same thing. Like, you have $10 to spend, and what are you going to spend your money on? Is it going to be weed? Is it going to be all this? And the problem is there's a government safety net. So if something gets really bad, I mean, you see it with the trustee's office too. You see it with the Medicaid and welfare. I would be here. I will make a deal with you. I will be okay with legalizing weed if we got rid of welfare.
Ooh.
Wow.
It sounds like I didn't know we had a bartering
How about
show going on.
Brad.
Nah, man, welfare helps kids. Like,
nah.
And I mean, like that. And again, I think a lot of those programs too, it's lost on a lot of the population as to like what hoops you do have to jump through to get these benefits. What the benefits actually go for. How many children are helped. A lot of single parents and stuff. And again, this isn't like I'm a snowflake crying about the sadness of people. It's like if you are a single parent and you have a job, you're not going to be making enough to. It is difficult to meet that.
I completely agree. The problem is there's just so many bad actors out there, and they're not getting in trouble. There are a lot of things that I would be okay on the left if we were able to be like, hey, you're a fat slob and you're taking advantage of the system. Like those people that get EBT cards, like John, we both know somebody who's playing that system. You know him very well. I'll talk about it afterwards. But like, he even posted up on his Facebook, like, yeah, I'm taking advantage of the EBT cards.
Yeah, and that's
if they post that kind of shit, yeah, like there should be.
That's what Steve said.
A repercussion.
There's no consequence, though.
Okay, so speaking of enforcement, this hour is already gone. Can you believe that? But if you are watching, Steve Whitty's going to be our guest, and we won't. It's not going to be the Brad and Whitty show on Mouthwash because we have two other logical.
We'll see about that, John.
Yeah,
just you wait.
You two take it outside. It's like this. This has gone from Oprah to Jerry Springer. But it's a good talk. I mean, this is the kind of talks we have, and the reason that I started Chateau de Marseille Studio and Mouthwash is that we have civil discussions. And I met Brad at the library board meeting up at Hamilton County East, and I noticed that he was a guy that wasn't up there screaming and yelling and hollering and all that. He was a guy that had legit questions, and I approached him about this, and he's been on the show for a year and a half. Yeah. And you've become our lovable Democrat. You are
John. You're good people, man. That's it was easy to get along. So
I'm not any good. I'm just better than I was. That's what I like to tell people. But so always a work in progress. Us boomers.
Yeah.
That's what we do. But I'll give you, let's see, what do you got here? You got like 2 minutes, 1 minute each. We'll go with Brad. You get to go first to close it up. And then Steve, you got a minute. And then we're out of here to the next show. Come on, watch some Mouthwash here in a few minutes.
My takeaway of knowing Whitty is the fact that it shows that people can disagree on most everything, but then agree that the system is broken, that there are ways to unite against certain issues, and we have to remember that we don't have to agree on everything, but there's some things that we can change, and we definitely should, because we're turning into the frog that's boiling in the water, and until we change that, it's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah, so Lisa did, before you go, Lisa said, you need to tag this show on Mouthwash. So we are on Mouthwash tonight. So I put you on there because, actually we're on Mouthwash, Twitter, and Mouthwash on Facebook. So yeah, that's why we have a pretty good audience tonight here. So they wanted to see it. So Steve, wind it up here and let's get the heck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, I thank you, Brad, for coming on here. This has been a few weeks in the making, and I think, like what you said, there's a lot of things that we share that are in common, but you summed it up perfectly. The whole thing is broken. It needs to be fixed. There needs to be a way to fix all this fraud. Otherwise, what are we even doing here? There's just going to be more fraud. And I'd like, everybody out there in internet world who thinks I'm such a bad guy and I'm just going to talk a bunch of crap and not be able to talk to people. This is a perfect example that I'm just a sweet and cute little boy, that I'm willing to talk to anybody. So make sure at 9:00 you watch the Mouthwash Show on the Chateau de Marseille Network. And don't forget, this Saturday, I'm going to be talking about fat people again. 8:00 on the Whitty Review Show. There's always plenty to talk about.
That's great. And you can always catch him at 8:00 on the Chateau de Marceau right before Mouthwash. And so thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you again in a few minutes on Mouthwash. And we're going to talk about sports and other things. You guys covered a lot of bases. You did a great job answering the questions. And I appreciate you letting me be the referee.
Yeah, thanks, John. Thanks for doing this.
All right, man. Peace out, everybody.